Well, it has emerged that King Charles doesn't have the power to kick Prince Andrew out of Royal Lodge.
Yeah, apparently the 30-room mansion in Windsor had been lined up for William and Kate, the Prince and Princess of Wales, of course. But the Duke intends to stick to the lease he signed in 2003, so he's refusing to budge.
Yes, well, let's hear more from royal historian and author Gareth Russell. Good morning to you, Gareth.
Morning.
Well, this is a little bit awkward, isn't it?
It is a little bit awkward, yes. I mean, I laughed also at Prince Andrew's repeated misuse of the word honour.
Yeah.
Last time he used it was cancelling his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein with an in-person visit, which is a bit of a stretch of the word honour.
Yes.
It is, because they can't kick him out, I mean, unless they want to turn the power off to Royal Lodge. But he is, there is a clause in his lease that they could get him out on, which is that he has to maintain this residence to a conservation and historical standard, and that has to come out of his own purse. And it looks like Prince Andrew won't be able to afford to maintain Royal Lodge for much longer. It's also, I mean, let's face it, it's not a real punishment to be asked to move out of Royal Lodge that was the Queen Mother's home and into one that's been used by Romanovs in the past. I mean, Frogmore Cottage isn't exactly slumming it, so I think Prince Andrew might want to make it less awkward by calling the removal vans.
It's all a bit confusing, though, because the lease... What's going on with the lease? Why has he signed a lease?
The leases on Crown properties, I should say, are a very flexible... they're not the usual kind of terms you would get for a lease. This one lasts 3/4 of a century. So they will usually last beyond a person's lifetime. Historically, this was to protect someone, actually, as is happening now, with a change of monarch. Maybe they're out of favour with the new one, or in Prince Andrew's case, with everyone. And I think when you are... so what they can't do, and sorry, what came out in the Times is it's not signed in the royal family's name, it's the Crown Estates. So the order for an eviction would have to come from the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and I don't think the King wants to go down that route. But as I said, they get it for these sort of historical properties for a knockdown, bargain basement rate of rent, but the flip side of that is they have to pay for the upkeep. That way the nation gets to keep these wonderful properties that are part of our heritage, but we also don't have to pay for them in the way that we would if they were left empty.
Yeah.
And him staying put and refusing to budge, it does suggest that he hasn't quite accepted the fact that he's not going to return to public office.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to describe it. That's what I was thinking this morning. I get the impression of someone who still thinks that there is a U-turn in this, and I think realistically we would all assume there isn't. He wasn't wildly popular before the Newsnight interview, and the Newsnight interview really was the final nail in the coffin. So I think... But let's also be really clear, he is Elizabeth II's son and Charles III's brother. He will always be a risk from terrorist attacks or kidnapping. Frogmore is really deep inside the Windsor estate. I mentioned a Romanov had used it. It actually was given to the Tsar's sister after the revolution to keep her safe from KGB kidnapping attempts. So it has a role that could keep him safe because of who he is, but I don't think he gets to have Royal Lodge because of what he's done.
Yeah, no. Interesting. Gareth, really good to see you. Thank you
so
very
much.
much indeed.
Thank you very much.